Hello, Reading 462 students. I'm Kelly Hatch, and I'll be your instructor for the next 8 weeks. And I know that many of you did not sign on for online learning. I'm guessing many of you are fairly disgruntled about this. I understand that. I have a son who's a junior at UW-Madison, and he's in pre-med, and none of his classes are face-to-face. So he's looking at a 4-hour organic chem lab online and such. So trust me when I tell you, I see all sides of this, and I'm empathetic. But I want to assure you that I have given this course a lot of thought. I actually started preparing for this online option last April, when I kind of saw the writing on the wall and wanted to be prepared to be able to deliver this course fully online if needed. So I spent all summer working on it, talked to a lot of people. I even had a couple of students serve as my guinea pigs for this course, completing different assignments and just bouncing ideas off of them. So I've given this a ton of thought, and it's important to me that you have a really purposeful course here, and you get a lot out of it. So having said that, let me tell you a little bit about it. As you know, this is a 5-credit course, and it is conducted within 8 weeks. And so as you can imagine, we cover a lot of content and we move pretty fast. We move really fast, frankly. What you can expect is 8.5 hours of class time per week and 15 hours outside of class to be spent on this coursework. So I can even do that math. You're looking at just under 24 hours per week spent on this course. Now, having said that, you only have 1 hour where you're required to be online actually talking to me each week. I mentioned that in the email I sent earlier this summer. When you see this video, you see that Canvas has been opened, the course has been published. You're going to see a discussion folder where you can sign up for your discussion times. And I have added some different options, a Tuesday afternoon option, just to try to accommodate as many different schedules as possible. But I can only go so far with accommodations. I have about 80 of you across 3 different sections, but I will be fitting you all into these smaller classes. So instead of having 3 sections of 462, I'll probably have about 10, which is great. I love it. I love being able to talk with smaller groups. This will be a very vital piece of this course. So sign up for those, and sign up for all 8 at once if you can. And then as we go through the weeks, you'll receive a WebEx invite to join the discussion. Keep track of your WebEx invites so I don't get peppered with emails 5 minutes before each session asking for the login. If you need to, that's fine, but if we can avoid everyone doing that, that would be dandy. So if you have any questions about how any of this will function, you can ask, and I will hopefully make it perfectly clear to you. Wi-Fi connectivity, dog ate my computer, whatever, avoid those excuses. If you miss a discussion, you miss work, we all know that we're going to be online. We know what the requirements are, so make sure you're there. Now, I get that there are problems. I have an 8th grader who's in the other room right now, and she's fully online, and there were connectivity issues on the school's end. So it happens. However, sleeping through a discussion and then just telling me you had connection issues is not cool. The better thing to do would be to say, I slept through my session, is there anything I can do? And then I would work to get you in another discussion. That would be a better way to go about that. Anyway, have a plan A and a plan B. I also have a plan C, which is odd for me. I don't typically have, I don't usually have a plan B, but let alone a plan C. But here we are. And so I do have a couple of backup plans. If mine all goes haywire and I'm not able to deliver content or join a discussion, then that's on me. And obviously you won't be held responsible for it. Okay. Again, any questions about that, you can fire away. I will add, I am adding a special optional WebEx meet for this Thursday at noon. And that is just a place where you can join and ask questions. So if you have questions about any assignments, anything that's on the syllabus, anything upcoming, any expectations, if you have comments to make, concerns, that's the place to do it. I'd prefer to avoid getting 100 emails with questions, just because it takes a lot of time. And my email inbox is a bit of a black hole. So and if you have a question about something, chances are 10 other students have the same question. So that will be an optional WebEx this Thursday at noon. You'll see the discussion folder titled Optional WebEx, and go there and add your email address if you want to be invited to that that discussion. Again, it's optional. Okay. Check out the syllabus. The syllabus is in the module titled Course Information, and that goes through all of the modules and shows you kind of the layout of what we'll be doing. I do reserve the right to make slight changes if something happens and we get slowed down, or I decide something isn't as relevant as I thought it was when I was planning this in June. I might make a change. I'm not going to add assignments. I'm not going to add work. So don't worry about that, but I might change due dates. I might switch things around. So just know that it's your responsibility to constantly be checking in. If I have updates to the syllabus, I will post them in the week's module that we are in at the time. So if during week 3 I decide to get rid of one of the readings and change it up, then I will post that in the module and let you know. Okay, you will see in each module, the first thing you'll see is a module checklist. That's my poodle. I'm not sure what she's barking at, so disregard her. Each week for each module, you'll get a checklist, and that is just a very short checklist, making sure that you know each of the things that you need to accomplish for the week. When you go into the module and you click on each one of those things, so for instance, a reading, you'll have the content for what you need. If there's an assignment, it will give you the due date and so forth. But the checklist is just a place to kind of bring it all together and make clear exactly what you need to do. So you'll see view video, you'll see read particular things, you'll see assignments, and you'll see a quiz for each module. Those quizzes, in case you're wondering how to study for them, just do everything in the module. Read everything, view everything, do the work. And the quiz's only purpose is for accountability. So it's they are not meant to force you to take copious notes or to memorize things. It's just a matter of holding you accountable. I'm not a fan. I don't love this, but it's important. Okay. In the first module, so for the first week, you're going to see a whole bunch of things you need to do. So welcome. And Some of them are very short and very simple. So for instance, you'll view Duckworth video, a TED Talk. It's Angela Duckworth. She's talking about Grit, which is a book that she had published a few years ago, which is phenomenal. And probably many of you have heard of her, but it's her TED Talk. It's a very, very short TED Talk, and it addresses grit. And so as you go through each of these things, you will keep in mind that the end game here, the purpose of all of this content, is for you to think about what literacy instruction is and what type of teacher you want to be. One of your main assignments is to write a paper, and you turn that in, I believe, in week 7. And this paper will begin with an introduction, which is the results of an interview that you're going to take this week. So you're going to see in Module 1 that you're supposed to read V&V, Vaca and Vaca, they're the authors, chapters 1 and 2. And you'll see that and you'll read it. And then you'll see an assignment for an interview. You'll click on that and you'll see that you're going to go back into that reading, and on page 35 of it, there are some questions about your beliefs about literacy. You're going to read them and think about them, and you're going to answer them. You're going to post your answers, so type this in a Word document. You're also going to answer the question, what is literacy? Or if it's easier to think about it this way, what does it mean to be literate? You're going to think about that. And then you're going to type that answer, and you're going to post all of that in the appropriate folder. That introduction, that interview, is going to be the start of everything you do in this class. So it's really important you do this and you think carefully about it. Okay? And the instructions are in there. It's pretty clear. There isn't a right and wrong answer. It's just what you think. And as we go through the course, everything that you read, you're going to think back to yourself and you think, oh, okay, so I just watched Angela Duckworth, or I just watched this video by a guy named Jim G, and who's talking about using video games in classrooms. Whatever content you read or view for the rest of the course, every time you do it, I want you to think, what does this content say about what I originally thought good teaching included, or what literacy development should include, or what literacy even means? Does the content that you're reading or viewing change your mind? Does it broaden your mind? Does it completely blow your mind? What is it doing? And so every time you watch a video, you read something for this class, you should be taking notes, not highlighting every single thing you read, but in general thinking, what is this article saying to me about what good literacy instruction should include and how it should be delivered? What is resonating with me in this article and in this video? I would recommend that you have a handy dandy little notebook, or however you do it. I write everything. And every time you complete one of these readings or these videos, you stop and you reflect and you answer that question I just told you. I also printed that question in your module checklist, so you can look at it there. Then when you write your paper, that's your paper. You start with your introduction, which is your interview response, and you think about why you responded the way that you did. And then each time that you encounter a reading or a video and you think about how that, like I said, broadens your mind, blows your mind, changes your mind, you discuss that paragraph by paragraph. That becomes the body of your paper. So if you do this right, as you're completing each module, you're writing your paper. So when week 7 rolls around and you've got all kinds of work to do and you are stressed and you are busy, you're sitting pretty because you've pretty much already written this paper. All you need to do is edit it, make sure that it flows nicely and it makes sense, write your introduction and turn it in. That's how I would approach this course. I'm not going to discuss it anymore right here because this video is already getting long, but this would be an important thing to discuss if you have questions about it in the optional WebEx on Thursday. Okay, so that's your final paper. That's your biggest assignment. I've never done this before. I always give a final exam, and I don't like that. I want to hear your thoughts, and I want you to think critically about the things that I'm asking you to read and view. And I also want to add, I don't throw a bunch of busy work in my courses. The readings that I have, the videos that I've included are things that I think are very important and useful. And so I ask that you read them accordingly and you think critically about them. What's good? What's bad? What do you like? What did you learn? That's how I like to operate. Okay? You'll see some other assignments. You'll see a couple of lesson plans. I'll go into those at length later. And as I said, as you go through your module, you're going to see readings and viewings and things that you need to do. If there are questions about when things are due and you've looked at it and it's not clear, reach out to me and make sure that you are clear on everything that we're doing. If you need accommodations, if any kinds of particular accommodations at all, you need to email me and set up a time to talk with me about that, or you can simply email and explain. I like to have conversations with people about these sorts of things just to make sure that we're both on the same page and we're very clear about what you need and how I can support you. So if that's the issue, then please send me an email and do it right away. If you need to send me an email to tell me that you're going to miss a couple weeks because you're going on vacation, don't send me that email. Don't ask. It would be a very foolish thing to do. You can't miss a week in here. You can't miss 2 weeks. And it's simply not advisable. So if that's the case and you've already booked the trip of a lifetime, I'm not sure where you would go because yeah, your options are a little limited these days, but if that's important to you this semester and you want to do that, then take this course in the spring. I'll be back at it in January doing the same thing here. So anyway, next thing, you're going to see a Flipgrid. It's just me introducing myself. It's short, I promise you. It's not going to be 20 minutes like this one. I want you to watch it, and then I want you to respond to the Flipgrid, and I want you to answer these questions. I want you to tell me your name and your hometown. I want to hear about your hobbies or pets, and tell me your favorite thing so far about 2020. You might have to think about that one for a while. And finally, I want you to tell me what you hope to teach, either what grade or content area you really is your very first choice when you are teaching. So you will respond to my Flipgrid, and then I can go through and get to know you all a little bit before we get rolling next week with our face-to-face discussions. Okay, so next thing, check out that Flipgrid, look at everything in Module 1, look through your syllabus, make sure you address VACA and VACA Chapter 1 and 2, and that you take that interview immediately. That's on page 35 of Chapter 2. You will see that you complete the interview and then you go back to the appendix. Well, you don't go back because you don't have the book, but you'll see the appendix, and that will kind of give you some language to think about how you answered your questions. This interview basically gets at what you think, how you think literacy should be taught. And it usually, the way that you think has to do with how you were taught. Or maybe some of you have a parent or a grandparent or a sibling who is currently a teacher, and that might inform your answers. It doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong way to answer the questions. The only way you get it wrong is if you just don't answer them. type out your responses. Think about that a little bit, and then you'll see that assignment folder where you're going to deposit those responses. Go through, check out all of those videos, make sure you watch them all, and make sure you sign up for your discussion times, and you take your quiz. Yay! Thank you. I know that this got a little bit long, but I had a lot to say. So welcome. I'm excited to get to know each of you, and I'm really excited for this course, and I hope you are too. Most of all, I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all healthy, and that you're finding ways to get outside and to be happy. All right, goodbye.